Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. It's Sunday, like May 24th or something. It's the day before Memorial Day. And I'm out and about, so I thought I'd give people a chance to hop in and ask some questions that they want while I respond to this comment I got. So I received a comment on, I think it's my most recent post, about bare minimum. I spelled it bait, so typo. I swear sometimes on my phone changes it, or I make a correction, a whole nother different follow on my video. I give people about 7 ratings. But again, the most important, best thing you could possibly do for your case is to get a consult with me. So, I don't expect the average person to trust me right away. That's why I post my winning court orders. There's people out there, they blindly trust their attorney because they got a power suit and tie, work at a fancy building, and they got a law degree. And then after they burn them for the first 10,000 and the next 10,000 and the next 10,000, then they go get another attorney and they burn them for 20,000 and they get another attorney and they call me up and say, "Do you know any good attorneys?" I'm like, "Did you watch any single one of my friggin' videos? All I ever talk about is representing yourself. And if you decide to stick with an attorney, you can still light a fire under that attorney's butt." But anyway, so this Amy J 6269, so I don't know if it's a man or a woman, AIMEJ 6269, in the comment, I'll probably pin it so everybody can see it. In the comment it says, "Well, if you want to get more subs, you should probably be nicer and stop talking bad about potential subs." First of all, if that's a dude, that's a passive-aggressive drama queen, Jezebel, control freak, witch game. "I'm telling you to calm down or else you won't get any subs," trying to control me. I mean, really, first of all, I care less whether I get any more subs. That's on you guys. If somebody doesn't want to sub or follow me or get all this free winning information, guess whose problem that is? Like I said, if this stuff dies out where I can't live, and I make enough money to get by doing this stuff. But if I can't, all while you guys worship and prop up, talking about you guys, my critics, you guys worship and prop up these attorneys and give them hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to keep pushing this corrupt system that traffics children. So you guys are who are my critics. You don't like me because I tell you, grow some balls, man up, and fight the right way. You don't like that language. Then you turn around and you give money to child traffickers. You give money to the guardian ad litem, the parenting evaluator, the person giving you a psych eval, which is total bullshit. Do you know that psychological evaluations by psychologists, 70% of psychologists have a mental disorder? And I talked to a psychiatrist who does forensic work in the Midwest. I won't say what state or city, but she's a psychiatrist, and she said most psychologists are full of crap. It's all subjective. You can find a mental disorder with anybody. There used to be about 20 mental disorders in the DSMV. Now there's like 300 or something. They don't even know what the cause of them are. They don't even know what the root of it is. And they just have a label for how somebody acts. Somebody can have the same demon on them and they act a little different than the other one, so they got a different title: sociopath, psychopath, narcissist, and they all got no normal human empathy. You see some of the same descriptions. But the DSMV was created so that the psychologists could bill the health insurance. They turned it into mental disorder under healthcare and stuff so they could get paid. Everybody's out here getting paid. And you guys get mad at me because I tell you the raw, hard, real truth. If you're not going to grow some balls and fight. Now, Every single person I'm talking to, you have value. You are a human being. You have intrinsic great value. You know, I'm a Bible believer, so God ascribes great value to every single human being because of his love for us. He died for us, things like that. But when it comes to doing something for your kids, if you're a coward, the reality of it is your cowardice is causing you to be a sellout and a quitter and sorry, I got an interruption in a bad spot. I had two that mentored me and barely told me anything. And one guy charged me $600 to do paperwork, and he did it all wrong, and I had to redo it. But they still taught me a couple of things. And one of the guys taught me, you get on the fence and slap around. They're going to bomb you with a paper blizzard, bomb them back. And he didn't say abuse the system. He said use every bit of recourse available. And it turns out, and I didn't know it'd work. They didn't know it'd work for me. It turns out, and the guy who said that, Dennis Gack, National Brotherhood of Fathers' Rights, I think he's passed away now. The other mentor was Bob Carlos from ORG, but the guys who run it out of Portland are such punks, they just disappeared on it. But the little mentorship I had, which, like I said, is 1% of the free information I'm giving you guys, I took that and ran with it and got full custody, one contempt, got 5 days a week visitation after I lost and didn't see my daughter and didn't have any court-ordered visitation. I didn't see my daughter at all for 40 days. Didn't get any court-ordered visitation for a month and a half, or two, let's see, about 2 months. Yeah, a month and a half. I'm sorry. April, May. 2.5 months. Most of the people out there quit after their first loss in court. So the person who says you should be nice to everybody, what I say is that you should grow some thick skin and toughen up. If you don't like what I'm saying, you're really going to get butthurt when the court takes your child away. Or you're really going to get butthurt when you go into court and you run your mouth and you say whatever you feel like. You know, I've had some consultations the past month where I had to tell people, like, look, stop telling me you're going to argue. Like, people will call me up and they'll tell me all the stuff they're going to argue in court. I thought you were calling me because you're lost and you need some help. And you want to dominate and dictate the conversation. You might as well not pay me and do that. You know, I cut to the chase with people because, like, I don't want to waste your time. You're going to pay me money just so I can listen to you with your bad legal strategy. But if you go to court and you cut the judge off, you talk over the judge, you say, this isn't fair, this isn't right, and you have no legal argument or no way to demand your rights to speak, and you're going to do it off of feelings and stuff, you will piss the judge off and you can screw your case. If you don't learn how to do this stuff the right way, now there's no guarantee of winning if you take step one, step two, this or that. And I don't know what, some people will write a comment or question and say, what's my step on this? I don't know your steps because I don't know your case. Like, people will say, you know, I have a contempt hearing tomorrow. What should I do? Get a consult so I know what the hell's going on in your case. Like, are you really that shiftless and lazy that you're not going to tell me anything about your case and I'm just supposed to play Miss Cleo 1-900 psychic and read your mind? Like, if you go to a doctor, you say, hey, I have an owie in my stomach. What should I do? See how stupid that sounds? That's what a lot of people's questions are. How the hell am I supposed to know where to even start if I don't know any details of your case? That's why you can take some of the legal principles I have and figure out which ones fit your case and watch all 500 videos. I think I'm at 600 now on YouTube. 500 or 600 videos I have on YouTube. Take a month to go through them and absorb and take notes. Or you can get a consult with me in an hour and a half. You can get all the answers that you need right now and things that you can do. Every single person that I ever talked to in 23 years now is totally lost. The people who know some stuff still need some direction. And after they get off a consult with me, they know exactly what to do next. And some people get mad at it because they want me to make something go away and fix it. But those are the people who are lazy and just thought because I won in court, I'm going to give them the result on the phone. Like, I went through 7 months of hell to get custody. I went through a year and a half of hell to fight off a relocation case. And relocation/modification case. And I was in and out of court for 18 years. I went to jail one time for 8 days because I didn't show up at a court hearing, but nobody ever served me. They set me up. And the judge gave me $25,000 cash only bail. And there were drug dealers and the real domestic violence perpetrators in there that only had to pay like $500 for bail because, you know, bail is 10% of what the actual, the bond is 10% of what the actual bail is. My judge said $25,000 cash only. I stayed in jail because the mother didn't get school and medical records. And all she had to do was call the school and call the doctor. And she did refuse to do that. She wanted me to hand over every record for 15 years. So I've been through it all. And my point is, I've been through it all. And the bare minimum effort is everything that you got. And if people fall short of it, that's why I'm here weeding out all the, like this Amy J or Amy J 6269 coming in. Oh, I expected a real nice little lecture and that I would miraculously get my kid. No, this is war. You got to get ready to go to war. If you're not ready for that, get off my page and go watch Command the Courtroom. That lady's got some good content and she's really nice. I disagree with some of her stuff because she's doing it politically correct and she's talking about, she's not lying to anybody. She's talking about some rights. I've only seen a couple of videos, so I trust, you know, I'm going off of that. But if you don't like mine, go somewhere else instead of passive aggressive. Now, if that's a guy, again, there's something wrong with your fruity little bitch ass. You know, IMEJ or AIMEJ 6269. Maybe it's Jaime, which is James in Espanol, but I did the nice thing for like 5 or 10 years at first. And you know what? Guys didn't grow balls because I was nice. All the sissy cowards were still sissy cowards and didn't want to fight for their kids. My little niceness that you want me to convey because your little thin-skinned butt can't handle some harsh talk. If you can't handle harsh talk or like this drill sergeant type of talk that I'm talking, when you go into court and the judge says, you're a sexual predator, you're a mentally ill psychotic weirdo, and they lie about, I'm sitting here telling you the truth and giving you the truth and telling you to man up and grow some balls, and you're gonna have a judge lying to you and saying, I believe the pathological liar, you can't be around your kids. How much butt hurt are you gonna be then? So you're gonna jump off my page, not do the stuff I'm talking about, because your thin-skinned little bitch-made feelings are gonna be hurt? How hurt are you gonna be when a judge says you cannot see your kid because you didn't come to court and show me any evidence, or you didn't get on the offensive, or you didn't get on the offensive enough to keep your case out of court, which is the #1 strategy. This is a war of attrition. Let me see if I have any questions. Somebody said I subbed. This guy knows his stuff, helped me a lot, was going on in my favor, but my young son kind of screwed me with his outbursts and behavior issues at school, and his mom claims the change in households. Okay, so a lot of times, let me tell you this. Sometimes this is an easy argument. A lot of people will say, oh, the kid came to my house and had all these behavior problems right after being with dad. And I almost never see anybody argue this. This is why people need to slap themselves and do some common sense and just sit down and think what the other side is saying. Most people get emotional and then they react emotionally and say, you're lying, and they freak out. Sit down and think about what the person is saying. When that child comes to my home, they're acting out. So they're confessing when the child's under their care, the child is acting out, which means the most likely answer to that is their home is toxic or neglectful. Or they just came from a loving home and they're in a home where there's no love and affection. So the child is traumatized because he or she felt all this love and affection and security and stability. Then they go to a home where it's just dead. If you don't give a child affection and nurturing, that's just as bad as actually abusing the child. There was an orphanage a long time ago in Russia or Ukraine. It's probably Ukraine because they're a bunch of sick, twisted bastards in one of the top child trafficking countries in the world, and where politicians launder a bunch of money. That's why we're at war, and that's why we're supporting Ukraine, because they're laundering money for politicians. If you don't know that, then you're a dumbass. But that one's for free. Whatever you see on the news when they say this person's a hero or this person's great, it's usually backwards because the media is bought. There's 6 corporations that run all the media. And they say they have the same script. So if they have the same script, that means it's scripted and they're lying. Politicians, media, courts, used car salesmen, they're all a bunch of pathological liars. I don't know why anybody trusts any of them. But this study, they had an orphanage where they took half the kids. I got to see if I can find this. I heard it in the early 90s. I heard a pastor preaching about it one time. I can't remember the exact details of where it was. It's Russia or Ukraine, I think. But anyway, maybe Ukraine wasn't a country in that time in the 90s, but it seemed like it was late 90s. Anyway, he talked about a study. They studied some orphans. They had half the orphans where they gave love, attention, and affection and all this stuff. Of course, they fed all the kids, but the other ones, they didn't pick them up and love them and give them lullabies and stuff like that. The kids that didn't get love and affection, they went deaf and blind. You know, we were made and created for love. I just saw, you know, there's a bunch of news about the Kendrick Lamar, Drake, you know, disses and drama between them. Kendrick Lamar is calling out, for those of you who don't know, one of the most famous rappers ever is Drake, and he's crossed over to pop and, you know, hip hop and rap and stuff. But Kendrick Lamar is calling him a pedophile now that the Puff Daddy stuff is coming out. So, I was just looking at him, and he said, you know, he said something came across my feed. And he said, look, you know, life can be summed up in one word, love. We were made to love, and we want to be loved. And we just focused on that, and all this stupid stuff we're fighting over each other on, you know, we could fix a lot of the world's problems. But kids are made, we're all created for love, to love and be loved. And the way we receive love is through our eyes, our hands, you know, affectionate touching, listening to words of affection. And so these kids weren't receiving it, so their body just shut down. So I probably should try and find that study and put it in my flow page for you guys if I can. Or you guys, one of you guys could do the research. You know, sometimes in the comments, some people give good information in the comments. Some people like to say stupid stuff in the comments because they went to court one time and learned something. So then they say, oh, this is what you need to do in every court nationwide. And I'm like, a lot of times I'll ask people in the comments, how well did that work for you? They don't have any story or testimony of what they're talking about, which is people just love to talk without backing it up with, you know, actual substance. That's why I show you guys my winning court orders. Don't believe what I'm saying just because I say it. Go look at my winning court orders and like, oh, James verified that he knows something. You guys trust your attorneys. Your attorneys never tell you how many times they won a court. Your attorneys say, yeah, this is a great case for 50-50. After a couple months, you get totally creamed. Oh, it looks like you better just surrender to every other weekend. That's the best you're going to get. And they quit on you. Right? Right? I tell people this stuff all the time, and then everybody's pretending like that's not the reality of the situation. Your attorney's a sellout. Well, I want you to fix it, James, or I wish you could argue for me, and I want you to give me some secret advice that'll just, you know, wave a magic wand and fix it. No, there's no answer like that. You're in a war, an anti-father court system, and when your mother who becomes a non-custodial parent, they're against you too. But the argument for when a kid comes over and the kid acts up, number one, the obvious argument I would make is say, this person's admitting it's an uncontested fact. They're admitting that the child acts up under their care. I never have that problem. So place the child with me where the child shows love. Bam, there's your argument. Number two, the problem with that is they attribute it to the other parent. If you know the rules of evidence, you would jump on that and say, objection, expert testimony. The mother is acting like a child psychologist doing this cause and effect. The mother is saying, because the child was just with me, that caused the child to act out in her home. There's no way she could testify to that. You cannot possibly believe that. All we could do is stick with, and this is the art of being an attorney. You grab something that they say, and then you take it and you run with it and use it to your advantage. She just confessed the child acts up in her home. I don't have to argue that. She admits it. I don't have to say hearsay or what somebody said or guess, no personal knowledge, and violate the rules of evidence. She just admitted it. So I will take that and run with it. She just admitted that the child acts up in her home. She's the one who's overseeing her home. She's the most direct contributor to the child's behavior at that time. We have to assume that there's something wrong with her home. Because the child doesn't act like that in my home. Boom! You got to win right now. You got a little bit of leverage right there. But most of you will, excuse me, say, You liar, she's lying. She's such a liar. She's lying and it hurts my feelings and she lies and lies. Instead of seizing the moment and jumping on that. Sorry about the background noise. I got to get something from my throat here. I got to drink. Instead of seizing the moment and jumping on it. She's serving up a softball for you to hit out the park. But see, everybody gets emotional and they don't think. Most of this stuff is common sense. You go read the law. This is what the law says. I win based on the law. The mental state of a parent. Which parent is willing to facilitate a relationship with the other parent? The best interest of the child. All the science says the best interest of the child is both parents, so we start there. This is common sense first grade level math. This is why I get so frustrated with people, because they might go and read the law, or they watch my videos and I say, read the law, read the law, read the law. And they don't read the law, and they're sitting here guessing, and you're going to a court of law with an attorney at law to talk to a judge who's supposed to interpret the law, to fight for your right, your lawful rights. And you don't even look up the law. That's like you not knowing anything about chess and you play checkers and you go into a world-class chess tournament and you don't look up the rules of chess. So I get right to stuff like, okay, you're doing that wrong. Go do this. And people are mad because they want me to cater to their wrong argument because their ego is wrapped up in it. Well, I went in there and told the truth, and I told the truth, and I told the truth. You did it wrong. You didn't attack this. You didn't use the law and apply the law. And then you don't like it because you have to admit you're wrong. And because you're such a sensitive, egomaniac little bitch, you want everybody to placate and cater to your little feelings instead of coming to learn. I'm here to learn. I'm totally lost. I lost. I got 0 visitation every other weekend, supervised visits. I'm doing something wrong. James got full custody without an attorney, destroyed guardian lives, destroyed an attorney. Let me listen to him and shut the hell up. See, I have to weed through. To get people's attention, I have to first weed through all your bull crap that you're wasting time on and get to the core of the issue. If you want to say, oh, my tummy hurts and this and that, and you want to talk to a doctor and the doctor says, well, what have you been eating and what's your daily routine? Well, you know, when I was a kid, I used to throw up in the middle of the night and I had this and that. And they're not even talking about that. So you're not even getting to the root of the problem. Or you don't go to a doctor and you're in denial that you got a problem and you just want to tough it out and hope it goes away, you know. No, I have a family member who has cancer, and they didn't do regular checkups to find it, and so now the cancer is all throughout their body. If they would have looked for it earlier in life, then they wouldn't have had all the problems they had right now. You sit here and you want to ignore the reality of, I need to grow some balls, I need to get on the fence, I need to call the mother out, instead of, I'm kissing the mother's ass, I don't want to piss off the judge, I'm not going to talk about the elephant in the room. The root of your problem, most of the time, you got a crazy baby mom who's manipulating the child, which is a form of child abuse. And you don't ever bring that up in court. So how the hell do you think you're going to win if you skirt around the root of the problem? Here's the cancer. Let's go in and cut it out. Oh, wait. Let's talk about, let me just do some push-ups. Or I'm going to still eat the way that I eat and do the same stuff that I'm doing and not address the cancer. And I'll just, I'll still eat McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I'll have some blueberries at the end of the day because I heard blueberries are antioxidants to help fight cancer. You're not attacking the root of you're dancing around the problem. This is so I'm cutting through the BS and all I've been doing this 23 years. I've had thousands of people who've won in court, and 90% of the people who do what I do from the beginning of the case have great success. Most of the people who are behind the 8 ball and get on the offensive have a decent amount of success. Like half the people, their case settles and they just give a half-ass effort of what I'm even talking about. I'm thinking of a guy right now. He came to my office like 3 times in 3 months and he did a couple of things that I told him to do. I told him to do like 20 things. He did like 2 or 3 of them, and the mother settled with him on 50-50 because he got on the offensive and she couldn't handle it. And you guys are all dancing around, not doing the stuff that works. And the case is dragging out, and you're getting close to trial, and your attorney says surrender because you're pussyfooting around. And you don't like me telling you I'm giving you information to wake. If your friend tells you to wake the hell up and change your lifestyle, you're going to die fat, eating McDonald's every day or whatever. Is your friend telling you the truth? Do they actually care? Yeah, if you don't like what they're saying and you don't change your lifestyle just because one friend told you it harshly, it's still your problem. They got punk-ass weirdos like this Amy J 6269 sitting here saying, oh, if you want more subs, be nicer. Shut the hell up. Go to your little nice group. If you're a dad, go to a Father's Rights Movement meeting. They like to cuddle and cry and sing Kumbaya and accomplish nothing. The Father's Rights Movement groups have been around that I know of at least for 15, 20 years, the national group. I haven't seen them done one single thing except give bad legal advice. A bunch of loser fathers start a group in an area and they give people loser advice. If I get on there and say, do contempt, stop sitting around and doing nothing. Oh, that's really aggressive. I said, go for full custody. We're not going to lower ourselves to that. Okay, you're going to lose because if you ask for 50-50, you're saying that person is great. And they come to court saying you're a monster. You just said they have great credibility. You just sabotaged your own case, dumbass. People don't want to hear it. Grow some balls and fight people. Now, I don't want to come out of the gate swinging and fight somebody. Like me and my baby's mom had a great plan. I was going to work at night. I took a job at night. She lived 3 blocks away, and we would never put our daughter in daycare. And then the conflict started. Her fat, ugly sisters who never had any boyfriends, Yvonne Charisse Wright, what is her nickname? She's now a life coach. She coached her sister to abandon the child. First of all, she stirred up the conflict, and then she said, well, let's just bail since James got custody. Let's just bail and move to California. And so my baby's mom, Sedaris Wright, you can look her up. She's the only person with that name in the world. Sederis, Sedaris Wright. She, her sister, Yvonne Wright, she's a life coach. What does she call herself? My daughter actually pointed it out to me one time. Vaughn Reese, I think it's Vonnrese. She's a life coach. So she's teaching people how to love themselves and screw everybody else. So she taught her sister how to love herself and abandon her daughter. So, and now they don't have a great relationship with my daughter because of that abandonment. They wanted to win, and you know, her sister got mad at me because I called her out on something that she was doing, and she was a leader in our church, and she was being really kind of brutally abusive with her little mini leadership position over a lot of the younger women in our church, and I called her out on that. You know, you stand up to bullies, then they'll turn around and make you look like the bad guy. Somebody said, the truth hurts. Not a soul listens. I email photos to a friend. Somebody said I emailed photos to the friend of the court where the ex pinched herself. I don't know what that means. If you're saying not a soul listens, I don't know what you're even saying. So this is what a lot of people do. They get on here and they say some vague stuff you don't know. If you're saying you emailed photos to a friend of the court, you're relying on the court. You need to rely on yourself to get on the offensive. Did you go to court and did you cite the countless quotes of judges and attorneys who say women lie all the time and lie about assault and domestic violence and abuse? Did you cite that in your paperwork? Because I got guys who fight off bogus restraining orders and dispel allegations of assault by first citing. You go in front of a judge and say, hey, your people. Now, a friend of the court, I'd be appealing to the friend of the court. The friend of the court are usually a bunch of idiots. But I would tell them, look, lawyers, judges, private investigators, entire bar associations have said that women lie about protection orders and about abuse, child abuse, domestic violence, all this stuff. And it's more likely than not that they have lied when they file a protection order. And protection orders are used for the gamesmanship of leverage and custody battles. Did you cite that? If you didn't cite that, you didn't even start to attempt to fight the right way. Did you cite Civil Rule 11? Did you get on the offensive with the mother and do discovery? If you have an attorney, did you do a deposition and catch her in the lies? If you didn't do all that stuff, you haven't even started the bare minimum. So you said, I sent pictures to the friend of the court. Okay, that's 1% of the effort that you should get in there. If I'm trying to lose weight and I work out once a month and I eat good once a month, you think I'm going to lose weight? You're going to court in a war with the court that's anti-father if you're a father. And you go to court, you have to overwhelmingly overprove yourself and overprove what a monster the other side is. So, you know, my defense against protection order packet has worked for people defending restraining orders or proving false allegations. Or what you should do if you want to do it for free, did you look at my flow page like I tell people to do in all my videos, or in almost all of them? Did you look at my flow page? The link is below there. There's a bunch of free resources that says must see information. And one of them is a link to Divorce Corp's, a 2-minute trailer of the documentary Divorce Corp. It's the best documentary on the corrupt family court system. The guy who created it or produced it in like 2012 or something, everybody got all geeked, like they got all geeked about Johnny Depp. Oh, now father's rights are going to take the forefront of the media and stuff like that. And then it always dies out. But the guy who created Divorce Corp, he said, we're going to try and get reform in America's divorce. We're going to meet with congressmen. We're going to go to Washington, D.C. I said, dude, you're doing it all wrong. That's not going to change anything. He goes, well, we're going to give it a try and use the European model and the Swedish model and all this stuff where they end up getting fit. I said, dude, you're wasting your time. Within a year, that guy fell off the face of the earth. Nobody knows who he is or where he is. So the person who created the best documentary in the history of the world, when I told him he's doing it wrong, he needs to do it this way, he didn't listen to me, and he disappeared. Everybody that I've seen since I started doing this has come and gone and been an utter failure and disappeared. So I'm doing something right. I got countless people with testimonials in the comments here and there, and I got videos with some testimonials. I had a guy who didn't even get a consult with me. He got my defense against protection order packet, and he fought off a woman's bogus domestic violence protection order. They found that she was lying. You have to overwhelmingly overprove. So if you come on here just to tell me this is how I lost and that's all you want to do is vent, then you don't. Now, I'm not saying that guy did that, but your little effort. Oh, I sent some pictures to the friend of the court. Yippee-ki-yay. You started your case. Did you argue about her lying? Were you in there saying that she's full of crap and women lie about this stuff all the time? Here's another typical case of, and when I go to court, I want to tell the balance. I just don't want to attack women and mothers and say, and look like I hate women, hate women, hate women. I'll go in there and say, look, Your Honor, there's real women victims out there of domestic violence and assault who are afraid to even come to court. And this woman comes to court and uses domestic violence as a punchline. She's making a mockery of all those women who are afraid to come to court. She's making a mockery of the women who fought to put these protections in place for women. That way, I don't look like I'm just only attacking, oh, this woman lies, women lie all the time, I hate women. I acknowledge that there's real women victims, which kind of goes without saying. We all already know that. But what things that people don't know is how women lie about protection orders all the time. And if you just go in there and say that yourself, nobody's going to care. But if you go in there and you tell them, here's a quote from a bar association in Illinois, from a bar association in California. They say that women lie about this stuff all the time. And here's a judge who said it. You don't even have to get my packet. Just Google that stuff. False claims, abuse, domestic violence, family court. That's how I got the research for my packet. I looked for it. And I got a link to Divorce Corp. There's a Harvard law professor in there. There's an investigator. There's a celebrity judge. There's 2 attorneys who admit that women lie all the time. Boom, there's quotes right there for you. So go in there and use that kind of stuff. If you're just saying, I went to court and I tried once, so did I, and I didn't win anything, and I tried again, and I tried again, and I tried again. Sometimes that's the way it's got to be. Your life with your kids is on the line, so you got to put that effort forward. $500,000 in debt. Okay, like I said, did you do what I said works? It doesn't sound like you did. You're sitting here whining and crying, pissing and moaning because you're dumb enough to hire 3 separate attorneys. After I lose with somebody, I don't keep using the same losing method. And you said you did it with 3 attorneys and $500,000. Okay, well, here's the answer then. Go do what I just said. Go back and undo it and talk about how that it's a fraud upon the court. Do a motion to vacate. I don't even know where you are in your case. You probably need to get a consultation with me. But you can do a motion to vacate, motion to set aside, motion for reconsideration if you're within that deadline, and say this is a fraud upon the court. She was lying. Women lie about this stuff all the time, and use some of that research. So you guys got to do, if you're saying, any of you guys out there say, I tried to do this and I did it with a lawyer and I did it this way with a lawyer. Here, just leave it there. I'll come get it. Got it. Just, if you're saying, this is what my lawyer did and I lost, obviously that's not good enough. You got to, I won in court. I fought off 7 anti-harassment orders from the baby's mom. She kept doing it even after I never to her. One time I served paperwork at her home and she wanted a restraining order because of that. And I fought. After I got a domestic violence protection order against a woman a couple years ago, she tried 4 times to retaliate and get one against me, and she lost. So anyway, I'm going to get going. I'm picking up my mom from church, and I thought I'd just jump in and answer this comment and then answer some questions. So, all right, you guys get on the offensive and keep fighting the good fight.